What all too common trait do you find extremely unattractive in the opposite, or same, sex? The telepathy tax. Partners who hold it against their so when they fail to anticipate and fulfill their unspoken needs and desires. Damn, it's in words. If you don't tell me, how do you expect me to do something about it or try to fix it at least? Years later when we're in a fight I can't do anything about it. My only thing is when my partner claims telepathy tax for things that should be very obvious. For example, if the dishes in the sink need doing. I am giving the dog a bath and you're dicking around on your Switch. You should do the damn dishes. Or at the very least not act surprised when I am frustrated that I need to do them. On top of taking care of the animal while you sit on your happy ass. I see this often as a way to excuse, most commonly, forcing the emotional labor of a relationship on the woman. It is often easier to do it yourself than point out and nag another person to do it when they should very well be able to see it with their own eyes. Women can obviously do it to men too. But it happens more often the other way around. Feeling the need to post on social media constantly and pretending that they don't care about it but obviously care a lot. Shit talking others to make themselves look better. Can the opposite be true too? People who shit talk themselves constantly. Littering. You'd be surprised how many people don't give a FCK and throw shit out their car window. It's disgusting. Edit. I'm glad so many people feel strongly about littering too. When I was in basic I went to grab food with a roommate. On our way back he threw some garbage out the window, so I told him that if he does that again I'll drive back and make him pick it up or he can walk the rest of the way back. Needless to say I was considered to be that guy when it came to littering. Crazy how littering is so normal for some people that when you confront them about it you're considered to be a weirdo. The I'm an asshole and I don't care if people call me an asshole attitude. Also the I tell it like it is or always speak my mind people. Who are basically unfiltered assholes. Shouting at their partners in public. Honestly just shouting in general. If you can't control your emotions enough to not raise your voice, you should remove yourself from the situation until you're more level-headed. People who do things for clout and don't actually care for being genuine until they need something from you. Person gives homeless man X amount of money and he cries type of videos. Don't show me that shit. Give the man the money. Feel good about yourself. And FCK off. Don't give it to him and expect me to praise you. You attention seeker. It absolutely is a good deed but it's never done to solely help the guy. It's done for internet praise. People being obsessed with their social media presence. I recently got told I was hiding something and it made me seem untrustworthy because I don't have a Facebook account. Social media has got people's heads all screwed up. Which is the reason I got rid of it. Playing hard to get. If you like me just fucking tell me. Stop beating around the bush. Edit. I am a girl. Or when you ask them out. They say no and a couple of months later they tell you they're interested in you but they just wanted you to insist more. Once someone tells me no I'm done. I'm not gonna start harassing you. Self-absorbed behavior. The Kardashian housewives of syndrome. You are not the star of some reality show. Stop acting like it. I get such secondhand embarrassment when average people post to social media like they're famous. It seems to be the norm now to post content like you're addressing fans and not literally just your friends and family as most are. Hi guys, here's a quick haul I've picked up from Lush. Haven't been posting much lately due to change of circumstances but I'm back. Big thank you to @Topshop for my new jeans. They are amazing. I'm sure your 200 followers are on the edge of their seats. Pushing you to do something you don't want to because everyone does it and it's fun. Is there any way I can say that this is a very Reddit popular opinion without being flamed to death? Seriously. Is there? Because I honestly believe there is something to be said for the people who do those things and do them because it expands their horizons even though it makes them uncomfortable. Which is the exact same sequence of feelings and events that happens for most people I've ever personally known in times of growth. I understand this makes my comment entirely subjective but what else do we really think anybody else is posting here? It's all subjective opinion. So I hope what I'm saying can be taken the same way, even if it comes off as language of the enemy for some. Narcissistic. That goes to both genders. Overconfidence is really nasty, because it usually means that they think everyone, including you, is beneath them and treat you accordingly. I have enough enemies who try to put me down to lift themselves up in my life to not date one of them. Edit. Seeing as many people didn't like the word enemies, I'm here to explain. By enemies I meant assholes in general. Everyone says they want their partner to be super career ambitious. Screw that. I say put in your 40 hours then chill. I want someone who knows how to relax. Someone above commented that they aren't attracted to people who aren't super ambitious. I don't understand that at all. Same kind of people who try to tell me that my life is unfulfilled or some shitty because I work a low paying, unskilled job that I love the hell out of. Let people be happy. Not everyone needs a corner office to enjoy their life. When they think that their taste in music makes them a superior person instead of just having different tastes. Applies to both genders. Edit. Phrasing. Men bragging about being violent. Bar fights ain't sexy honey. These people are baffling. Doesn't make other guys like them either. If you're in a fight every time you go out, I'm pretty sure you're an asshole and I don't want to be wherever they are. Chewing with your mouth open. FCK dude, it drives me crazy. Or just in general making that awful smacking sound when you eat. I would rather die alone than have to listen to that at every meal. The inability to admit they are wrong or when they apologize and then justify their actions. It depends on the way they justify their actions after apologizing though. It could just be an explanation on why they acted or thought the way they did. To give some insight on their thought process so you don't assume they're just genuinely stupid. There's a fine line between explanation and excuse. Hard to get. Turns to hard to want real fast. As a woman, I've had a lot of people tell me I'm too easy. Countless men and women say I come on too strong. I can respond to texts in a decent time. Have sex quickly if I'm feeling it. etc. The irony is, I just weed out the people who are playing games really quickly because I don't play games. If they wanna chase, they can go find a girl who wants to be chased. I don't have time to waste manipulating my way into an unhealthy relationship. Messiness and having poor hygiene. I was recently told by a friend that his mom thinks of me as a clean person. And this isn't uncommon either. People always tell me how I don't stink like all the other guys. My secret? I just shower daily. Not to sound superior. Because believe me, I'm not. But it's so easy to be clean. And people do notice. Edit. If you have a financial, skin, or mental health issue. 3 things that I never thought I'd end up grouping together. Then of course that should be taken into consideration. The whole let me push all your buttons. You're wrong. I'm right. I do it because I think it's funny to rile you up shtick. Then repeat it immediately. Just general toxic jestless behavior. No. I do not want to sleep with the barista because they asked my name for my order. Yes. I was told to treat as I wanted to be treated as a child, so I will be polite and smile to others from time to time. This does not mean I want to shag every human being I interact with. For me, it's the girls who constantly say I'm ugly and then you tell them they aren't. And then they go no. I'm really ugly and it just goes back and forth. I can't stand it. Stroke. Being rude to wait staff. It shows an utter lack of understanding empathy to others. Not caring that the staff are other people. It's often associated with the person thinking they're better than others. It's a complete turn off for me. And would refuse to date someone like this. Fake tans. Like the ones where they look orange. I've seen both men and women walking around like they are hot tea looking like an Oompa Loompa. Fake tans are extremely popular in the South. I find it so unattractive and don't understand the desire to have legs the color of roasted baby carrots. The alpha mentality. When someone even uses alpha or beta unironically, I automatically assume they are insecure AF and are a pose. It's a red flag for basic human interaction. Desperately trying to be unique. I'm just too crazy. Not like other girls. If you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. Yee, her best is probably going to be her partying and tripping on Molly until 5 AM when she calls you and asks you to pick her up. Acting all cute and as if it was hilarious that she just did that. Not taking the F-king compliment. Like, if I say your hair looks good today, and you say, haha, no, it looks like shit. And I try to tell you again that it looks good. If you disagree the second time, I will tell you that fine. I agree it looks like shit. Fuck you. Marlene. Edit. Guys, I don't know someone named Marlene. I was writing this and thought of the Vine LMAO. Thanks y'all for the golden karma. Over talking. Not having a give and take in the conversation. I'm a guy and a co-worker just talks and talks and talks then starts f-king talking faster. Like I say a sentence. He responds with 10. I just don't expand on the conversation anymore when he finishes because I want him to get fo and let me take over the shift. Guys that find general housework to be demeaning and beneath them so they expect women to do it for them. While they sit there. Doing absolutely nothing. How can someone be comfortable watching someone do absolutely everything for them? This isn't typical. But I've actually heard a guy try to explain that this behavior is fair because if there was ever a home invasion he'd be the one that would have to take the bullet and fight the guy off. I mean, a hypothetical situation that will probably never happen is the reason you can act like a pathetic douche every day of your life? WTF. Always on their phone. This shit annoys me so much. I want to talk to someone while looking at them. When they are constantly on their phone it makes me feel like I am talking to myself and it's awkward as fuck. Refusing to do anything they think is considered more feminine cause they think it's gay. Not washing your face doesn't make you straight. It just makes you crusty. I may have some bias since I do lean towards more feminine guys. But there's certain limits. Man. I've read alarmingly many accounts on Reddit from people who have met macho men who won't wipe their ass because it's gay to touch your own asshole. When they can't take no for an answer. This is a pretty broad statement. But a lot of guys have trouble taking no. It can go from slightly annoying to really scary in a heartbeat. Edit. By broad statement I mean that it goes for both genders. However, because I am a girl, I only ever encounter guys. It's the same with girls. Some women think it's okay to sexually harass or grope men just because they can. Assault is assault. Harassment is harassment. Take no for an answer and don't grab on people without their consent. Anyone of any gender that does that is automatically disgusting and a predator in my book. The need to take pictures so often and record everything. This should never have been normalized. Edit nevermind. I take it back. As long as you're doing it to preserve memories and not just solely for the purpose of social media likes. You do you, baby. If you go to a concert most people are holding their phones recording the concert for their Snapchat followers that don't give a damn. Enjoy your life, idiots. Live in the moment. Live for yourself. Habitual weed use. I encourage the decriminalization of marijuana. But holy shit. Guys. High isn't supposed to be a personality trait. Damn. This connected with me. I have a date tomorrow with a nice young lady and I told myself that I wouldn't smoke at all tomorrow so I could have a legitimate, genuine moment with another person. I also want to remember every detail cause I'm crushing on her hard, y'all. A lot of people have sent me some very kind words. Thank you all. Lip fears. It's super popular right now but it just grosses me the FCK out. Weed. No. You're not special because you smoke. Or eat edibles. Or whatever it is you do with weed. Side note. Shit. I'm not even against legalizing weed. Just f-king shut up about the fact that you smoke it. Good god. It's like the kids who brag about how drunk they get. Squeaky little girl voices. Especially if it's on purpose. See? If it's an affectation. I'm not a huge fan. But if her voice goes up a bit when she's excited or I tell her she looks good or something, I find that pretty cute in a woman. Edit. A word. Acting like being a BTCH or being edgy is cool. Then people say, wow, they are so empowering. They're a boss. They're savage. They're confident. No, Becky. They're rude and arrogant. Deleted. Making fun of my appearance. Even as a joke. It's a giant red flag and I won't date anyone who teases me about it. Yes, I hate when girls, not saying guys don't, make fun of my appearance and it damages my already low self-esteem. Spitting. Just grosses me out. Wait. Do people really spit habitually around potential romantic partners? Like. I grew up on a farm. Spent most of my formative years doing manual labor. I'm generally an uncultured swine. And therefore have been known to hawk a lodgy when I'm working or whatever. But if a girl saw me spit, I'd honestly be pretty mortified. Acting thirsty or making sexual innuendos early on. Nothing dries me up more. Just reminds me of that old college humor sketch. I'm gonna make it so dry for you. My mouth is gonna be like sandpaper. It's gonna feel like getting a mouthful of sand. Lack of emotional intelligence or ability to be able to take a step back from a situation to see things at all sides but instead take everything personally and only hear part of what someone said. Then shut people out, preventing anyone from discussing a resolution to a problem as a team. Instead of sitting down and have a discussion over a problem, they disappear for weeks, then make relationship decisions all on their own. Come back. Then tell you how they're changing the relationship dynamic without your input, without talking to you about it. So, blocking out communication before making important decisions. Smell and poor hygiene. No one smells just because they are a dude. They smell because they don't clean themselves. Excessive body spray is not an alternative. Thinking that acting antisocial and toxic is empowering or something. Not forcing myself to interact with people when I didn't want to was empowering, but it was also a phase. Now I realize that I can be friendly without feeling drained, and also that I enjoy the company of others most of the time. I learned that there is a polite way to be an introvert. Using your partner as your therapist. Man. I don't know why I attract the broken guys. But every date I've been on where it went past the first date, they'd start telling me all about their disturbing thoughts and I'd be supportive. But I'd internally be screaming because this was supposed to be a fun time and I didn't emotionally prepare for this. Not broken but oversharing person here. In my case, when someone is polite and amiable, I tend to lower my guard very quickly and it just happens. When I notice I try to listen to the other person for the rest of the convo. A recommendation I'd give is that you have to state interest in others as much as in yourself. Let the other know that there are two people talking and that they've got to consider you too. Acting the martyr. Yes. Being over the top selfless is just another form of passive aggressiveness. Right? I am completely giving myself up for you to an extent that you could never return. You are such an asshole. And someday you will suffer when you realize that I have been so good to you. More of a general trait, but extroverts that think there is something wrong with you for being an introvert. Chill people, I am not depressed, I just don't like going to the bar every fking night. I find more enjoyment staying home playing video games or reading a book. Going out with people is exhausting. Nothing wrong with me, I just don't need people around me all the time to be happy. I'm an introvert and I love sitting at home playing video games and being alone. But when someone invites me somewhere and when I decline, they won't stop saying, oh come on, it'll be fun, or why not, like if I said no I mean it. The gaslighting. On any level. So, I'm to blame for your behavior? I'm to blame because you couldn't possibly be wrong or held accountable for your decisions? Edit. Whoever you are. Thank you for the gold. When people feel bad for or think it's weird when others do things alone. Just because I enjoy going to restaurants, watching movies alone doesn't mean I'm lonely, especially when it's an acquaintance and they ask me to sit with them or talk to me for an extended period. Just let me read my book in peace. GD. People who are socially inept are extremely attractive to me. I love weirdos. Extremely shy people. Socially awkward people. People who are too smart for their own good, causing them to alienate others. People who are just socially oblivious. The list goes on and on. I just like people who seem like they weren't meant for this world, I guess, lol. I think being unable to blend in is very attractive in others. Gets me every time. Edit. Wow, I just realized that I didn't even answer this question correctly. Oops. Thought it said attractive. Not unattractive. Sigh. Either way, it seems like it was a happy accident since it seems a lot of you can relate. So I'm gonna leave it up. Dot. Women that refuse to do any kind of labor. I live in the southern US and do a lot of farm work and seen girls half my size kick ass tossing hay bales. And some refuse to do anything because it requires effort or you get dirty doing it, like come the hell on. People who put you on the spot in front of others is a way to get you to agree with them on something. My former best friend would this and it ticked me off. E.g. asking if I wanted to go to a concert, eat something, etc anything, or why not, in front of people. And then me having to justify my reasons and being put down if they didn't find my reasons sufficient enough. People using mental health issues for attention. Depression isn't like a pair of socks that you can just put on one day and then take off the next. And no, Sally, you do not have OCD just cause you lined up 2 pencils on a desk. Or used pink to color code your calendar on Wednesday. Cause trust me, I have it and sometimes it makes my life shit. Unkempt facial hair. I don't care if a guy is clean shaven, bearded, mustachioed, has huge sideburns. Whatever. Each face is unique and looks good with different things. But I can't stand when a dude just lets it all grow wild without taking care of it. Emo, it speaks of laziness. I'm straight, but a trait I find annoying in other men is false confidence. A book I once read described it better, but essentially a guy will to give you a definite answer even if he doesn't know. Then they won't own it if they're wrong. Purposely making yourself look like you have a low IQ. I can't stand people who think it's cool or funny to look absolutely stupid. Not having any social skills at all. I'm gonna sound like a boomer, but people don't know how to communicate normally anymore. Keeping emotions, thoughts and feelings to themselves because that's what a man is supposed to do. Or because you're playing hard to get. It's better to be straightforward and honest about how you feel about someone. Not being teachable. As in can't be introspective, or when faced with new information cannot budge on their initial opinions, conclusions. Is unattractive. It comes off as stupid and arrogant and makes me feel like I'm dealing with someone who is unreasonable. I hate it when a girl uses some council of bitter friends to judge whether or not they're allowed to like someone or not. When my friends and I talk about girls, we don't group analyze their status and give each other permission to fuck. There's just so much politics involved in things that should be simple. It really sickens me how many relationships are oh ha 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 I tolerate my stupid useless boyfriend husband. Far too often and see the variation on this. Where the husband seems to be a loyal beast of burden in servitude to their wife. I love doing things for my wife. Don't get me wrong. And I love it when she needs me to take care of something. But like, my wife doesn't just expect me to do everything. And actually tries not to just heave every task at me. So many relationships I know are like this. Shoving your political and or religious beliefs into every conversation about innocuous things. What TV show do we watch is not a loaded question impugning your opinions. Asking dumb questions that they already know the answers to just to interrupt. That pisses me off. People who only like one side of you. No. I'm not going to be upbeat and cracking jokes all the time. Sometimes I wanna be serious, and if you can't even pretend to care, then the whole relationship feels kind of fake. The entire bad boy persona. Huge no for me. Whoa. I can't believe you do this. You'll unleash the beast within. Opens car door as empty cans of Monster Energy TM tumble out. Asterisk. Unbuttons my trench coat as several ninja stars fall out onto the ground. I unsheath my katana. Being judgmental. So many people are assholes these days. I just want to feel like I can be myself without having to worry if they're gonna think negatively about any random thing I do. Trying too hard to be self-aware. I once dated a girl that was obsessed with being self-aware. If you for some reason did not fit her edgy criteria of that, you were perceived as a lesser person. The irony is she was the most basic BTCH only watches The Office white girl I've met. Biggest regret of my life. Talking too loud with me in public. I get really uncomfortable when there is so much unnecessary attention pointed at me. Like we are having a private conversation here, why the hell do you need to sound like you have a damn megaphone stuck in your throat? And the worst type of person is the one that starts speaking even louder when I tell them if they could speak a bit more quietly. I have no friends proceeds to talk to friends and post pics of them together on their socials. Honestly, as a person who actually had no friend, there are 3 types of people with no friends: someone with 0 or just 1 friend. Someone with surface level friends, i.e. people to hang out with but no one they actually talk to on a daily basis or about problems. And just a plain liar. Materialism. So many guys showing off their watches, cars, flying status, etc. It's bizarre how they seem to define their worth by the things they own. Not to mention incredibly boring. People who take suggestions to face value. For example, I don't like when you joke about my weight. It hurts me. Fine. I'll stop making jokes at all if that makes you happy. Double quote. That's toxic AF. Especially if you're dating that person. Self-worship. Both genders. Anytime someone talks like the ice and has to stretch out the last woo word of every sentence drives me crazy. I hard no every time. Materialistic social networking addiction, media jockey, attention hose. So all these traits are way too common in both sexes and all suck major ass. But my personal trait that's a turn off is selfishness. Smacking your food. There are 3 types of people who smack when they eat. 1. People who don't realize how they affect other people. 2. People who don't care how they affect other people. 3. People who can't breathe through their noses. Complaining about themselves. If I hit on a fat guy, then maybe I like it. And I don't want to listen to a tirade about your plans to lose weight that will never happen anyway. Rigidity on gender norms. Men should be able to cry. Women shouldn't be expected to cook every night. Men don't need to be the breadwinner. Women shouldn't be afraid to be assertive. If who you are and what your skill set is just so happens to fall into traditional constraints, that's fine. But I'm so not okay being told what being a woman should do like it's still the 1950s. Having impossibly high standards when it comes to dating. They can't make a mistake. They can't ever disagree on something. They have to play the victim. Listen, it's impossible to not make mistakes. You're a human. Mistakes are made to learn. And life would be so boring if your so was literally you. I believe that in a relationship both parties should teach each other some new things. If you don't learn anything from this life relationship, it's so pointless to stay. And another thing is pushing your partner away when you feel down. In a way this is because you're afraid of hurting them. But people need to realize that relationship is a team game. Your partner isn't supposed to just sit and watch you suffer. And adding to that, it makes you feel worthless because you're not included. And it hurts. Speaking from experience, I felt like a clothing hanger rather than a girlfriend. Mental illnesses don't make logical decisions. But if you're doing this willingly, please stop.